You need to hear this. It's not about signs or coincidences, it's about you. About something you may have ignored for too long, but it keeps coming back. Because deep down, you know you can't avoid it anymore. It's something that weighs you down, but also illuminates you. Something you feel when everything around you is quiet. It's that thought that comes suddenly when no one is watching, and you try to push it away, but it persists. It won't go away. It's not easy to admit, but there is a part of you that is tired, not of the world, but of yourself, of the effort to be strong all the time, of carrying everything alone, and that is what hurts the most, isn't it? That feeling that no one truly understands what you are going through, what you feel, what you hide. But what if I told you that someone, right now, is thinking about you? Not the way you imagine, but in a way that connects. As if this person wants to reach out to you but doesn't know how. As if words are not enough to break the barrier that exists between you. Not for lack of courage, but because that barrier was not placed by them. You built it. So why do you keep holding on to everything? Why insist on carrying what weighs you down when there is someone ready to share it with you? It doesn't have to be this way. You don't have to be this way. It doesn't have to be this way. You know that. And as much as you try to justify this burden you carry, telling yourself that no one else would understand, the truth is that you don't have to do everything by yourself. You have built walls so high that now they seem insurmountable. But do you know what is most cruel about it? These walls don't just protect you, they also isolate you. And deep down, that hurts more than anything else. You feel it, don't you? That distance that seems to grow between you and the world. Sometimes you look around and notice that people continue with their lives, busy with their own stories, while you stay stuck in the same place. But no one notices. Because you've always had this talent for seeming okay, even when you're not. But pause for a moment. Take a deep breath. And tell me honestly, until when? How long will you continue like this, pretending everything is fine? Pretending you don't need anyone? Because despite everything, you know you do. Maybe you don't need advice. Maybe you don't need answers. But you need to be seen. You need someone to truly see you beyond the masks, beyond the smiles you give to keep up appearances. And there is someone. There is someone who thinks of you more than you imagine. Who watches you even from afar and wonders if you are okay, who would like to get closer but doesn't know how to cross the walls you've built. This person doesn't want to change you, doesn't want to fix you or tell you what to do, just wants to be there, just wants you to know you don't have to face all of this alone. But there's a detail, they can't do it alone. No matter how much they want to, this person can't cross the walls unless you allow it. And here lies the real question. Will you let them? Will you allow someone in? Will you have the courage to say, even if it's just once, I can't do this alone? I know it's not simple. You spent so much time learning to protect yourself, to close off, that now it seems impossible to open up. It seems risky. It seems too vulnerable. But the truth is, your strength doesn't lie in pretending nothing affects you. Your strength lies in having the courage to say that yes, you feel, that yes, you care, and that yes, you need help, even if it's just a look, a word, a shared silence. Because deep down, you know you deserve it. Many things have happened in your life that made you doubt, that made you think you were not worthy of being cared for, loved, respected. But that narrative is not the truth. It is just a reflection of the wounds you carry, and wounds can be healed if you allow it. Now tell me, what do you really want? Not what you think you should want. Not what others expect from you, but what is your heart deep down asking for? Maybe you don't even know how to answer right now. Maybe that question is uncomfortable because it forces you to look inside, where you keep everything you avoid facing. But I'll tell you something. Running away won't solve it. It hasn't solved anything so far, and it won't solve anything in the future. At some point, you will have to stop. You will have to allow yourself to feel, even if it's difficult. You will have to recognize that admitting you need someone is not a weakness. In fact, it's one of the bravest acts you can do. Because when you allow someone to truly see you, you take a step out of the prison you created for yourself. You make room for something new, something that can transform the way you see yourself, how you see the world, how you see life. And that doesn't mean everything will be easy, or that all the pain will disappear overnight. But it means you won't be alone anymore. And that by itself is already a relief. Now I want you to think of something. Close your eyes if you need to. Imagine this person who thinks about you, who cares, who misses you, even if they don't know how to say it in words. Who comes to your mind? Maybe you already know exactly who it is. Maybe not. But the important thing is not the name or the face. The important thing is to recognize that this person exists, because they do. And if you allow it, they can help you see things in a way you never imagined. But you need to take the first step. It doesn't have to be a leap. It doesn't have to be something grand. It can be a message. It can be a look. It can be a moment of silence where you simply allow this person to be by your side. It doesn't matter how, as long as it's true. As long as it's the beginning of something that you know deep down needs to happen. So what are you going to do? Are you going to keep pretending that everything is okay when it clearly isn't? Or are you going to have the courage to lower your guard, even if just a little, and allow someone in? The choice is yours. It always has been. But remember, life does not wait. And as comfortable as it may seem to stay where you are, you know that it's not enough. You know you deserve more. I know this is hard to hear, but sometimes it's exactly what we need. And I hope that in some way, this makes sense to you. That it helps you see that even in the darkest moments there is a light. You just need to allow it to enter. I know all of this may seem too much. That these words may sound to you like something distant, as if it's easy to say and too hard to do. But I'll tell you something you need to hear, even if it hurts. What keeps you in the place where you are now is fear. And this fear, as much as it seems to protect you, is stealing from you what could be your freedom. It makes you think that lowering your guard is dangerous, but what's more dangerous? Living locked inside yourself or allowing someone to help you carry what is too heavy. You don't need to have all the answers now. No one expects you to solve everything at once or to become someone completely different from who you are. What you need, what this person who cares about you would like to tell you, is that all that matters is the next step. One, just one. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be big. It needs to be honest. It needs to be real. And here is a truth you may not have heard before. You are not a burden, not to those who truly care, not to those who see in you what you might not be able to see yourself. Someone who loves you does not see you as a burden. That person does not want to save you because you do not need to be saved. What you need is someone who will stand by your side, hold your hand on the days when everything seems to be falling apart, and remind you that even at your worst, you still deserve love, care, respect. But this will only happen if you allow it. If you can, for just a moment, stop fighting against the idea that vulnerability is weakness, because it is not. It is in that moment, at that exact moment when you permit yourself to feel, that something inside you begins to change. The prison you created starts to have cracks through which light can enter. And the light does not hurt. The light heals. The light embraces. Are you still there? Because if you are, it's because something in these words is touching you. Something resonated, even if you do not want to admit it. And do you know why? Because this is not about me. It is not about the words. It is about you. It is about what you know you need to face, but have not yet found the strength to start. And that is okay. You do not need to be strong all the time. You just need to be willing. The rest, time, and the right people will help you find. And I know you might be thinking, but what if I open up and get hurt? What if no one understands? What if I regret it? These what-ifs are the cruelest trap you can create for yourself, because they do not protect you. They paralyze you. And the only way to find out what is on the other side is to take a risk, to open a crack, no matter how small, and allow the world or at least one person to see who you really are. Maybe you still don't believe it, but being truly seen can be one of the most transformative experiences of your life. Because when someone sees you, even in your flaws, in your fears, in your pain, you realize that you don't need to be perfect to be loved. You realize that real love, genuine care, doesn't depend on you being strong all the time. It depends on you being human. And that's what you need to remember right now. You are not a machine. You are not an armor. You are human, with all your contradictions, with all your wounds, with all your doubts, and that's enough, more than enough. But you need to allow yourself to be who you are. You need to believe that there is someone in the world, Maybe more than one person who sees value in you, even when you can't see it in yourself. So, what are you going to do? You can stay where you are, closed off, safe, but incomplete. Or you can take this step. You can look at this person who has already tried to reach you, because you know who they are, and let them in, even if it's slowly. Even if you don't know where to start. It doesn't matter. What matters is that you start. That you stop hiding behind fear and allow yourself to experience what really matters. Because deep down you don't want to live like this. You know that. This life where you pretend to be fine, but inside you are exhausted, is not the life you deserve. You deserve something more. You deserve a real connection, a genuine exchange, someone who is by your side, not to fix you, but to walk with you, just the way you are. And if all of this still seems intimidating, think of it this way: what do you have to lose? You already know what it's like to live closed off. You already know what it's like to carry everything alone. You already know what it feels like to be invisible, even when surrounded by people. Now, imagine for a moment how different it would be if you allowed yourself to be truly seen. How different it would be if you let that person in. How different it would be if you could finally let go of that weight. You deserve this chance. You deserve this moment. You deserve to allow yourself to live in a way that doesn't hurt so much, that doesn't weigh you down so much. And all it requires from you is a decision. Not a grand promise, not an eternal commitment, just a decision that today, right now, you will try. You will allow someone to see who you are. You will allow someone to remind you of what you seem to have forgotten, that you are not alone, that you don't need to be alone. Now it's your choice. You have come this far because something in these words touched you. Because deep down something inside you knows that you can't continue like this, knows that you need to change, that you need to allow yourself to feel, to open up, to live in a way that is lighter, more genuine, more human. But don't be mistaken. No one is going to do this for you. There is no miracle, no magic formula, no ready-made answer. There is only what you decide to do from this moment on. It's about taking that first step, even if it's small, even if it's uncertain. It doesn't matter if it's perfect, if it's safe, if it's something you already know how it will end. What matters is starting. And believe me, just starting is enough to change a lot of things. You don't need to have all the answers. You don't need to solve everything today, right now. What you need is the courage to admit to yourself that, yes, you deserve more. That yes, you want something different. That you are willing to open the door, even if it's just a crack, to let someone in. And from there, things begin to move. Not in an explosive or dramatic way, but in a true way, because real changes start within you. Think about that person who, deep down, you know cares. That person who has already given you signs, who has already tried to get closer, but who perhaps encountered your walls along the way. It's not about blame or regret. It's about opportunity. You have the chance to change this dynamic now. To say what you feel, even if in a simple way. To allow that person to see who you are, with all your nuances, without masks, without shields. If you are hearing this and feel a lump in your throat, do not ignore it. This is your heart trying to communicate with you. It is asking you to act, to break the silence, to let something change. And changing does not mean abandoning who you are or forgetting what you've lived. It means embracing what can be different. It means opening yourself up to possibilities that you didn't see before, but have always been within your reach. And maybe you are thinking, but what if I fail? What if this person doesn't understand? What if all this is in vain? I'll tell you one thing, it is not in vain. It's never in vain, because every step you take towards your truth, towards your essence, is a step that brings you closer to a more authentic life. And even if the result is not what you expect, you will have done something that few have the courage to do. You will have been true to yourself. And if you are wondering how to start, the answer is simpler than it seems. Be honest. Be real. Don't try to be perfect. Don't try to impress. Just say what's on your heart. Say that you need help, that you miss someone, that you want to try something new. Be vulnerable, because vulnerability is the bridge that connects souls. And contrary to what you might think, it won't drive the right people away. It will attract them. It will create stronger, more genuine bonds. You don't need grand gestures. You don't need rehearsed speeches or an infallible plan. You just need to be present. You need to show that you are willing to try. And that is enough. Because often what really matters is not what you say, but the fact that you had the courage to say it. It's about showing that you are there, that you care, that you are willing to be seen. Now, I want you to do something for yourself. I want you to take this moment and think about what your next step will be. It could be a message to someone. It could be a simple gesture, a look, an apology. It could be anything that shows you are ready to start, even if you are still scared. Because fear is not the end, it is just part of the process, and you can overcome it. Maybe you are wondering why all of this is so important. Why these words? Why this call? I'll tell you why, because life doesn't wait. It goes on, regardless of whether we are ready or not. And if you don't decide now, who guarantees that you will decide later? Who guarantees that you will have another chance, another moment? That is why this moment is so important, because it is the only one you are sure exists. And here is my call to you. Share with me what this has awakened in you. Leave your thoughts in the comments about how you felt hearing these words or what you are willing to do from now on. I want to know your story. I want to hear you. Because sometimes sharing what we feel is the first step to freeing ourselves from the burdens we carry. If this content made sense to you, if it touched you in some way, make sure to subscribe to the channel. I bring messages like this to help you reflect, to connect with yourself and with the people around you. Also, leave your like, because it's a way of saying that you are here, that this resonated with you, and more importantly, share your ideas and experiences in the comments. You never know who might be touched by your words. And I'm going to ask you one more thing. Share this video with someone you feel needs to hear this. Someone who, like you, is carrying more than they should. Someone who needs a little push to see that they're not alone. Sometimes all someone needs is to hear that there is another way, that there is an exit, that there is a path that can be lighter. Because deep inside we are all connected. We all carry stories, pains, hopes. And when we share what we feel, we create something bigger than ourselves. We create a space where it is possible to be human, where it is possible to be seen, where it is possible to be loved exactly as we are. Now it's up to you. Not tomorrow, not later, but now. Because life happens in the present moment, and it is then that you can start to transform everything. You deserve to experience something more genuine, lighter, more human. You deserve to give yourself that chance. So, what will be your first step? I want to hear. Right here in the comments, subscribe, leave your like, and remember, you are not alone, and never have been.